Okay, everybody. Joel asked me to begin. So, my name is Moshe Raichik, Rabbi Raichik. I'm originally from Los Angeles, actually. I'm now the Chabad Rabbi at Brooklyn College, and it's an honor and exciting. And we'll jump straight into it because we don't have a lot of time. So, today we're going to speak a little bit about, or try to speak about, what does it mean to leave Egypt today? What does that mean? I mean, we left Egypt 2,500 years ago. Why are we always talking about Egypt? We can't get enough of it. We can't get rid of it. What is going on? So first of all, Judaism is about questions. So just to begin, Judaism is all about questions. We start off by the Seder. We ask the 4 questions. It actually says in the Torah, referring to how the children will ask, how to say over the story, it says, when your child will ask, you should tell him. So Judaism is all about questions, which doesn't make sense. If it's about faith, how can it be about questions? That doesn't make sense, but that's exactly what Judaism is. You're supposed to question it. And that's what the Jews said when we received the Torah is, we'll do it and then we'll understand, even though we don't have answers to it necessarily, but we're gonna do it anyways. So, but we're supposed to ask. So, any questions? Always interrupt me because it's not an interruption, and ask away. So we'll talk about leaving Egypt. What does it mean? How do we leave Egypt today? What does that mean? So a little thought that I will share. Egypt, the Hebrew word for Egypt is Mitzrayim. Also, another word, if you could take that Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, there's another word, is Meitzarim. Meitzarim in Hebrew means boundaries. We all have our own boundaries. We're all locked up into ourselves. Leaving Egypt, every single day we got to leave Egypt. And once a year, we make a big deal out of it. Every single day, we got to leave our own comfort zone. We got to leave our own boundaries. There was a famous, I think he was at one point the richest guy in the world. His name was Howard Hughes. He died in the 1980s. He actually died because he locked himself up in his airplane because he thought the whole world was after him. So we could have everything that we need and everything that we want, but we got to leave Egypt. We got to leave within ourselves, our own confinement, something that's holding us down. So that is leaving Egypt. Leaving Egypt means leaving our boundaries, leaving things that are holding us down, breaking out of it. But how do we? How do we break out of ourselves? How do we leave our comfort zones? How do we get out of this? So Passover actually has an interesting name. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe actually asked a question. He says, why does it always say when someone runs for public office, he's running? He's running for the Senate, he's running for the mayor, he's running here, he's running. Where are you running? They say the only guy that ever walked for president was John McCain. I think he walked for president. But every other guy's running. Where are you running? So because when we leave our private sector, our private life, to go to public office, you can't walk. You can't just walk from private life to public life. To represent people, you can't just walk. You got to jump. You got to run. That's what Passover gives us. Passover is something, it's not just moving out. They left Egypt. They passed over. It's something extra. It's something out of the ordinary, something that's within us, that God gives us this extra energy, this extra divine, that we're able to tap into on Passover and connect with it and leave our boundaries. When we connect this Passover, we're jumping over. I remember this little story of one morning, about 2 o'clock in the morning, there's a knock on the door. And husband and wife are in their rooms. And the wife tells the husband, go open up the door. He says, come on, who's knocking at the door at 2 o'clock in the morning? I'm not going to open up the door. He says, come on, open. So he goes downstairs and he opens the door. There's a drunk by the door. And the guy says, hey, you can give me a push? He says, a push? Shoves the guy down the stairs and he closes the door and he goes back upstairs. His wife says, who was it? Says, some drunk wanted a push. I pushed him. Says, you moron. The guy didn't want to push. The guy needs a jump, maybe a push, if you could push his car, if you jump start his car. Remember when we were stuck on the highway the other day and someone stopped off just to help us out? Come on, help the man out. So he's like, okay. He goes to his garage. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. He opens up his garage door. He's holding his pliers, and he's like, who's the guy that wanted to push? Where are you? And he's like, I'm on the swing. I'm over here. So God comes Passover with these pliers to hook us up and give us energy. And we're sitting on a swing, gliding back and forth. So that's God is giving us this energy to leave Egypt. We have within us to leave Egypt within us, our confinements. And we're able to, and God gives us that energy. And that's what Passover is about. When we eat that matzah, which matzah, it says that matzah is matzah of health and matzah of belief. And we eat this matzah, and it gives us this extra boost to leave out of our own confinements and leave out of ourselves. Just want to share one more story before we finish. A story that I love about Passover. It's a story that happened about 300 years ago. A student of the Maggid HaMizrich. The Maggid HaMizrich was a student of the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov was the founder of Hasidism. He founded the whole movement, the Hasidic movement, and his student was the Maggid. And there was a disciple of the Maggid coming to his Rabbi for Passover. And he had a long journey, so right after Purim, he's traveling a month's journey with a horse, traveling to his teacher. And the streets in Russia aren't the best roads, and he's falling into potholes and everything else, and it's taking a very long time. It's the morning of Passover. He's a couple of hours away from Mizrich, the town that he needs to get to, and his horse falls into a ditch. He's in the middle of the forest. He runs, he sees, he's not far from a city. He runs out of the forest. He comes to the city to ask them to help him to get his horse out. And he sees it's actually Jews living there, and they're getting ready for Passover. It's busy, Passover in the morning. They're burning the chametz. Everybody's excited. Everybody's running all over the place. And he asked them, please help me get the horse out. I got to go. I got to get to Mizrich. And finally they come with other horses. They pull the horse out, and he says, about to get on. And they say, buddy, where are you going? He says, I'm going to Mizrich. They said, what, are you crazy? Tonight is Passover. What if you get stuck in the middle of the forest? Don't do it. Come spend the first days of Passover with us, and then after Passover, continue on to Mizrich. Don't do it to yourself. He understood, and traveling for a month, he was a heavy heart. He comes to their house, and everything was beautiful. They had the Seder just like his house. Everything was perfect. But when it came to the 4 sons, when we speak about the 4 sons, the wise, the wicked, the simple, and the one that doesn't know how to ask, so when it came to the simple son, in Hebrew that's Tam, the simple son, Mahu Omer, what does he say? Mazos, what is this? And they start crying. He says, come on, you're crying? A simple son has a simple question. What is this? Why are you crying? But he's a guest. He's not going to say anything. Man, woman, child, everybody's crying. Grandma, grandpa, everybody's crying. And then the answer is, Famarte love tell to the simple son, the Chayzik Yad Yitzianu Hashem Mitzrayim, with a strong arm, God took us out of Egypt. That's why we're celebrating. And everybody starts dancing. Okay, interesting. Second night, same thing. Simple son says, what is this? They cry. Answer, God took us out of Egypt. They dance. But he comes finally to his teacher, to the Maggid, after the first days of Passover. And he tells his teacher what happened. And he tells his teacher, the Maggid, about what he saw by the Seder, with the crying. And so his teacher told him like this, Tam, in Aramaic, means over there. And in Russian, I think also kind of Tam means over there. So they're pointing to God. They're saying, Tam, over there, God, Mahu Eimer, what does he say? What's he saying? What's God saying? Mazes, what is this? I created a world. I put you down into this world for a reason, and you're just wasting your time. What are you doing? You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So they cry. What are you going to tell God? We are doing what we're supposed to be doing. They all start crying. So then comes the answer. Valmarte love. So instead of us answering the simple son, we answer God. We say, hey, God. With a strong arm, he took us out of Egypt. It says, when the Jewish people left Egypt, they didn't deserve to leave Egypt. It says when the Jewish people left Egypt. Okay, 1 minute. Well, it says when the Jewish people left Egypt, they didn't deserve to leave Egypt, but nevertheless, God took them out of Egypt. God, even though we don't deserve to leave this exile, still take us out, and that's why they dance. So I wish all of you that this should be the finest. This should be the last. Yeah, I'm gonna take you. 1 minute. This should be the last Egypt. This should be the last Egypt that we're in, last exile that we're in. And God should take us out of this final Egypt and give us the ultimate redemption, and it should be speedily. And if you don't have shmura matzah, the round matzah, please let Joel know. I'll be more than happy to drop off whatever's needed at your home. And together, we're going to leave this Egypt in ourselves and Egypt in the world around us. Happy Passover and all the best. Hatzlacha.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
You're very welcome.
good job. What's her name? We got to think her too.
Leah. Leah, say hi.
Thanks, Leah. Good, Moshe. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Take care. Go.